Hi, everyone. Welcome to Friday's morning coffee talk with the doc. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor. I'm an integrative holistic veterinarian who's on a mission to make sure that you, as the amazing pet parent that you are, feel empowered, supported, and confident you're on the right path. Today, we are going to be talking about gut health, skin health, and a lot of you amazing pet parents have submitted questions. And here's the thing, a lot of you are probably dealing with the same health problems as the person who submitted another question. And we have to shift our mindset around symptom care. So I wanted to start today with a little bit of a conversation around why we might be getting stuck. But first, for all you amazing pet parents who are here live or maybe watching the recording later on, I would love to know, drop it in the comment section. Are you stuck? Comment, I need help. If you are dealing with a gut health or a skin problem that won't go away, this could look like ear infections, itchiness, they're scratching, they're chewing their paws, they're like having acid reflux, they're sensitive to different food changes, you're concerned they might have a yeast infection. I want you to drop, if this sounds like you or it's resonating, drop in the comment section, I need help, because we have a lot of great resources. We're going to go through some of the ways to approach this today during this coffee talk. But what we can do after this, everyone, is that we can share some resources to help you get the results that you're looking for your pets. So drop in the comments, I need help, if this sounds like you. Now, here's the thing. You are not alone. And I see you guys. Thank you for commenting. I know there's a bit of delay on my end, but drop it. You're not alone. I promise. It doesn't necessarily make things better, right, when you are experiencing health issues. But one of the things that has kind of trapped a lot of pet parents, and I was trapped in this mindset also when I experienced a whole paradigm shift with how I approached health. Now, what is the definition of health? The definition of health, that would be technically the absence of disease. Now, who here agrees with that definition? And it's okay, there's no right or wrong answers. We all have different perceptions and ways that we look at health. And also, too, we've got all these other things coming at us from marketing and messaging and the conventional medical system, pharmaceutical companies, right, where we have a pill for every ill. And unfortunately, with that definition of health, which means the absence of disease, or that's what we're told, the problem is that we're on a spectrum of health where we're constantly moving along that spectrum, with daily stressors can move us towards more disease. If we're achieving peace and feeling like at ease, the absence of disease, right? Dis-ease is disease, right? It's kind of interesting, huh? A lot of people don't really look at it that way. We actually might not be healthy even without the absence of symptoms, because things are occurring internally inside your body, inside your pet's body, and they may not manifest as a disease yet. And a lot of pets, and you might be there right now with your pet, are kind of going through this thing where you're seeing symptoms, but you can't get a diagnosis, right? Your vet's like, let's just wait and see. I hate that term, by the way. What are we waiting for? Complete like falling off the cliff and like blowing up in flames, and like now it's much harder to fix. So this is where you don't need a diagnosis to take the action to start healing the body. And my definition of health is when we are at ease with everything. We have less resistance to trying to fix everything and control everything. We have all this worry, if I try this new thing down the road, it's going to create a disaster for me. And we end up stuck because we have all this worry, we have all this fear, we're projecting into the future. We are worried what's going to happen based on what happened in our past, and we are all at disease and resisting what we're doing. And it's creating this realm of resistance to healing. And so what we want to do is we need to take a step back, and we don't want to miss the forest for the trees by looking at symptoms and like, I have to fix that. That's something wrong. Oh my gosh. And everything's wrong. when in reality, there's nothing wrong. We're not going to go into that today because you're going to be like, Dr. Katie's crazy. She spent some time in the Costa Rica jungle. Like, no, I promise. When you start seeing this paradigm shift, it makes things easier. The reason I can say this is I've been there. I've been there personally. We had an entire shift when my husband was diagnosed with autoimmune disease over a decade ago, when my pets also developed cancer. And it was one of those things where it's like, how do we fix this? What is like, how do we fix this? How do we fix those symptoms? What the shift had to happen. Why did this happen? I want you to start asking the question, why? Why did this happen? Because a lot of times there's simple shifts and changes we can make when we start asking better questions and we start shifting the perception and we change the lens that we're looking through. So let's go through some of the questions that were submitted. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that step back because I want you to be able to look at your pet and these symptoms and these things, these check engine lights that are going on, but look at them from a bigger picture. So we're pulling away from just like symptomatic care because so many veterinarians, and I've been there too, and so many human health practitioners, it's conventional medicine, but we've shifted and we're like, we're holistic. We're not using a pill for every ill, but essentially we're doing the exact same thing as what we're trying to get away from, which is kind of crazy, right? Where we're using now natural remedies or herbs to fix the symptom. So now we just have like an herb for every ill, right? Versus the question of, well, why did it happen in the first place? Because that gets uncomfortable. We need to feel like we're fixing something by giving something. And true healing and true health is on the flip side of that duality, where we start looking at what are the foundations of health and we recognize and we accept it that this is a journey and it's not easy. It is not easy. That's why most people don't do it, and it's super uncomfortable. And here's the thing, a lot of it comes down to the energy we're bringing to it, the emotional health side, and it's not talked about enough. Yes, we're talking about gut health and skin issues because everything is interconnected from an energy standpoint, from a physiology standpoint. So that's why we have severe limitations when we start focusing on quercetin helps with histamine. Great, we can use it. But if we haven't addressed or come to peace with like, okay, there's maybe some certain limitations. Like right now is a stressful period in my life. And I know that I am more emotionally stressed and my pet is seeing that. And that is okay because that's the season I'm in. I know to be more aware of it so I can work on things to support myself because at the end of the day, that will help your pet. But giving yourself grace and recognizing those things and removing that resistance is key to so many of you here. And that's not easy to always hear, and it may trigger you. And that's okay. I'm okay if I trigger you. If I trigger you, it means there's something there that's resisting. So keep that in mind. If you're like, God, Dr. Katie, what the heck? We're supposed to feel really good during these coffee talks, right? This is where if there's something triggering you, there's a resistance there. If something's not resonating with you, we have to explore it at a deeper level. And Lisa, I see you. Like we all have this. We all share this in common. And it's not easy to look at because then we go through that lens, that whatever our lenses are that we put there through that perception, and we go, wow, I'm not good enough. I feel guilty. I feel shame that I haven't figured it out. I'm not figuring it out fast enough. Who here's like anyone here? Have you like thought that to yourself? Like for Finn, my German Shepherd with a brain tumor. Oh my God, how could I let that happen to him? I'm here to protect him. But in reality, what he showed me through that was that I was not meant to fix him. I was able to provide him with 11 more months of amazing quality of life when I was given a week for him to live. But he getting sick showed me to release a lot of that. I have to heal him. I have to fix them. I have to show them. I have to show that that holistic medicine works. It does. It totally does. But he showed me to be more at peace with myself, to release the guilt that I'd put all these expectations around myself of having to prove that I could heal him. And what I gained from that time with my Finn being sick was presence with him, was slowing down, taking time to go sit outside with him versus powering through the work and all those things. And that's why I don't have guilt over it. I'm sad. I still cry. His anniversary of his death is coming up on the end of this month. And I still see things that remind me of him, of things that he used to love and do. And I still feel like right now in my throat, the sadness. He was such an awesome dog. However, he taught me so much through that whole difficult process of him being sick that I was meant to learn. And so, what is the lesson your pets are trying to teach you? But we're so caught up in that energy of fixing that we've actually created a resistance to letting them in. So, that's just some food for thought. It's not an easy process to sit with. It's still a struggle for me every day. But I want you to start thinking about these things where can I just sit and be with them? Where can I take care of myself more? So that we can create that healing environment and remove some of that resistance of we have to fix them. We have to do it yesterday. The guilt, the shame that we put on ourselves, when in reality, every single one of you is doing the best that you can with the knowledge and tools that you have, and it's okay. I am giving you permission to tell yourself it is okay, and you're a freaking amazing pet parent. The fact that you are here, that you're listening, that you continue to learn and grow and doing the best that you can is amazing. But give yourself grace. So, with that, let's jump into some of the questions. I'm going to extrapolate a little bit broader because there's so many similar themes to a lot of the questions that were submitted. And I'm going to do my best to get through as many. There are a lot of questions we get. But keep in mind, here's the thing that I'm going to challenge you with. Whenever you listen to any of my content, to anyone else's content, when you are learning, even though there is a specific question to what seems like another pet, I want you to sit back and think about how can I apply this to myself and to my fur family? Because there's something in it for everyone, even if they're dealing with a different health issue. So definitely keep that up. Keep that open mindset. Just because I don't say your name, this is your question. There's something here. There's a reason you are here to hear this content that's meant to be absorbed or sit with or trigger you to like make you think about something, right? Like, oh, that was abrasive. That didn't feel good. What does that mean? What can I be with this? That's a question I've been asking myself a lot, especially during traveling. Can I be with this? It's a very interesting exercise. So let's jump to Sandra. She's a kitty mom to Gigi, Kiki, and Coco. She said, how to help vomiting and loss of appetite when you know it's stress related and you can't get your cat to take Slippery Elm or Adored Beast got soothed. The episodes usually last 1 to 2 days. Oh, cats. I love cats. I've got 3. I have just one with me right now on my desk. However, cats are very emotional beings. They are very connected to their energy. Dogs are too, but cats take it to like a whole new level as they do with everything else in life. Can anyone else, can you relate to that? Drop like cat mom or cat parent in the comments if you agree. And they can be really aware of stress and other things going on in the house. And the other beautiful thing about cats is they can be very difficult in getting things into them. Like they're really truly here to like remove the resistance and just have us be present and let things be. I'm not saying to never do anything and become apathetic. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. But I've had to do that with a lot of my cats, especially my senior cat, Kiwi. who tends to be more sensitive. She is very emotionally attached to me. She will sit on me and stare at me and put her paws up here and look directly into my face right here. And she has taught me a lot about regulating my emotions, being aware of my physical state. And so if you're seeing a connection with the symptoms, whether it's itchiness, vomiting, diarrhea, to a stress, like in stress situation where whether it's your stress, like you're going through a change, or you notice if there's changes in the house, or just even like you come home from a stressful day at work and you're like, wow, my cat's kind of like, why aren't they eating? Why are they vomiting more? Yes, there can be a physical health issue, but it always starts as emotional health. And then it manifests as a physical health problem. If we don't take care of that emotional health side, it will continue and it will create dis-ease that manifests physically as the symptoms that we see. So cats can be more difficult because we can't just put the slippery elm, or sometimes we can't. Some cats are pretty good with that. So we can use some of these herbs that are going to help calm inflammation. They're going to soothe that gut. Slippery elm, marshmallow root are very helpful for diarrhea, vomiting. Animal Essentials colon rescue is a great one for constipation, diarrhea issues in cats. Saccharomyces boulardii can also help too, kind of modulating that microbiome. But one of the things that I found really, really helpful, that I learned from my dear friend Julianne Thornton from Naturally Cat, or Thorn, sorry, Thorn. Sorry, Julianne, if you're listening, from Naturally Cats, is using herb gardens and using the process of self-selection. So putting down dried organic herbs on a towel, like a tablespoon of dried organic herbs. Valerian is really great, is commonly self-selected amongst multi-cat households. Your lavender, my cats are loving their chamomile. So chamomile flowers, I get mine from mountain rose herbs. And I'll put down and I rotate different herbs to allow my cats, I have 3 of them, to self-select. So if we have vomiting, loss of appetite, I would also put down organic catnip. My cats love eating catnip, and people are like, well, they're getting high. They actually don't get high because the way that they're self selecting that specific herb actually is very different in their body versus like the play and sniffing it. And some cats don't respond to it. But when my cats are experiencing like loss of appetite or some nausea, catnip is really helpful for that specific health issue. And now, what we're doing by allowing the cat to self select, you can do this with dogs too, but this is really helpful and makes your life easier with cats who can be harder to give supplements and herbs to. Allow them to self select what their body needs. Now, we don't always like can't put down thousands of herbs in the house, but we can do the best that we can, knowing what those herbs do and being aware of what our cats are showing us. And so in order to be aware of what our cats are showing us, this once again we need to be present with them. So, recognizing like, wow, I'm so busy, I'm so like kind of crazy and manic, like we may miss those signs. And I feel like, and I've experienced personally, utilizing herb gardens with my own cats and seeing it with my clients using it with their cats. It's such a beautiful, amazing process to watch your cat self-select something. And it's like, wow, they're choosing their medicine. They're choosing what their body needs. And that can be one of the most powerful things. So chickweed can be helpful, peppermint, your valerian, things like that. We have some other resources, also Naturally Cats. Highly recommend Julianne's books that she has too, that goes through what to use. We will share some comments below, or we'll share some links in the comments after this of resources for that, but highly recommend utilizing that too. One of the things also, if you're like stress related, I love teas. I made a joke with one of my Blueprint members yesterday where she laughed because I posted a picture on social media of sitting and all my cats are around me. And the question is, are they trying to heal me from something or tell me a message, right? About my energy or what's going on? But I absolutely love it. And I will sit there with them. And I had a cup of tea next to me, and she saw it because I talk about how much I love teas. My time in New Zealand really brought that British side to me. I love tea now. So having a cup of tea with your cats, with your dog to ground yourself and release some of that emotional stress can be very powerful too. Same herbs, lavender. I love Tulsi right now, which is holy basil. There's a lot of different blends. Buddha tea is a really awesome one brand that I love. We have a full script account. You can check out some of the brands that we recommend there. If you want to order those and you're having trouble finding it, or you're afraid to use Amazon for whatever reason, because you're worried about the sourcing, definitely let us know in the comments if you want some of those resources. Drop emotional health. If you want us to share some of those resources with you after this live. And Lori, the same herbs are for dogs to self-select too. And you can use hydrosols. So those are more dilute forms of essential oils. You can also use essential oils. We have an entire essential oil course on how to use that for physical health problems like GI issues, osteoarthritis, pain, skin issues, allergies, because there's a lot of fear around essential oils because they can go wrong when we misuse them or we use poor quality brands, but they are very powerful healing tools. And I use them daily with myself. I've used them for a very long time around my cats. And I recommend them for my clients and my patients. And so when you use them properly, they're very powerful. So I just wanted to say there's an emotional health side. I love that Sandra is recognizing that and connecting the physical symptom to a stressor, right? We're noticing the symptoms flare up with the stress. So when we think about foundational health, which is the root cause that I talk a lot about, we know that that emotional health pillar, we want to strengthen it. That's going to create more resilience in the body, and it's going to help remove those symptoms. So if we were to only use slippery elm, if we were to only use like chickweed herbs, we wouldn't fix the root cause because we haven't addressed the stress. So do you see how you can get stuck in that vicious cycle if we're chasing our tails or the symptom, trying to fix a symptom, but we actually missed why the symptom is there? So this is the power you can unlock when we take that step back. We become more present and we understand there's foundations and pillars to health that are actually the things that are creating the symptoms when we have imbalances present in those. So when we strengthen things, the body becomes more resilient. You're less likely to have disease. We can't always fix everything, but we can significantly improve the quality of the life of your pet, which I've seen personally, especially with Finn. Brain tumor, he had seizures, he had 2 torn cruciate ligaments. We did not need to do surgery for him because we used the power of a true holistic approach to support his body. At the end of the day, I didn't fix his brain tumor. Ultimately, that's why he passed, because of the seizures it induced. But you would have never known he had a brain tumor up until the moment we helped him pass. So that's the key, is that I removed that resistance of I have to fix him. And I focused instead on how can I just improve his quality of life and be present with him and have those memories with him, or make those memories with him. And it completely shifted the peace that I felt, for one, and also to the results that I got with him versus the frantic energy of I have to fix him, I have to fix him, I have to stay up all night researching, trying to figure out the answer to this. And I took a step back and approached it from a different way. And that's something that I teach a lot of pet parents to become more aware of, because it's a blind spot. It's not your fault. Most people, most veterinarians, most human doctors are not even aware of this idea because we're not taught it in medical school and veterinary school. We're taught symptomatic care, which now you can see, if you weren't familiar with this before, why that doesn't work. Yes, we can get symptom resolution, but if we're constantly chasing that, for one, it's not fun emotionally. And it ends with a lot of guilt and shame where, like, that doctor didn't fix my animal. I didn't fix my animal. I now carry the guilt and shame. And then that stays with us and it comes into our next relationship with our pet with fear and worry that we're going to do something wrong. And here's the shift in that. you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing the best that you can. And if something happens, it just shows us, it puts a light onto something that we want to be aware of. We want to take a closer look at. Like, I did that. I fed kibble. Okay, what happened? Maybe nothing, but okay, where can I improve, right? I learned this. It doesn't mean you should guilt yourself or shame yourself for the next 10 years. Or if you adopt a pet and you're like, I really wanted a healthy pet after all the things I went through with my last pet. And now they're itching, scratching, chewing, they have GI issues. And you're like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Maybe it's because we're supposed to take that step back. And this is where the learning comes in, and it's not easy. So give yourself grace. And Gabby, I see you. You know, the stress with your cats experiencing stress cystitis and things like that. Utilize some of the herb garden things that I mentioned. And remember, give yourself grace. It's okay. You're doing the best that you can. Okay. So on that note, there's a question from Carrie. How do you know if it's time for a yeast detox? My dog's feet smell like corn chips. Wondering what is the best way to identify and eliminate yeast. Okay, what are we focusing on here? A lot of pet parents are chasing their tails or their dog's tail or their cat's tail with a yeast overgrowth. Where has that rhetoric come from? It's marketing. You're bombarded every single time you go online. You need to do this yeast protocol. You have yeast overgrowth. Everything is yeast. Everything is not yeast. I did a coffee talk on this a while back. Happy to share the link. If you want that link, drop in the comments yeast, and we'll share that with you. However, what is yeast? Yeast is a secondary overgrowth. It is a symptom. It is a check engine light of an underlying imbalance in the body. So once again, I sound like a broken record, right? And I'm doing that on purpose because this is a blind spot for so many people. So my question would be, especially for Carrie, who asked this beautiful question that so many pet parents are dealing with currently with their pets, is why is the yeast there? If it is a yeast issue, it could be a secondary bacterial infection. And now we're just like getting that moist, hot spots, that smell. There's a secondary infection, whether it's bacteria or yeast, there's something going on. There's a skin barrier disruption that's causing the inflammation, but it's at a deeper level. And a lot of times we end up just doing all the yeast things and we create more imbalances. This could be because your pet's not digesting their food properly. This could be a microbiome issue where the bacteria, the protozoa, the fungi that make up the trillions of different types of microorganisms that live within your pet's gut, all the way from the mouth, all the way to the rectal area, are out of balance, or we're lacking diversity, or we have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, and it's creating inflammation in the gut lining that then is causing an overstimulation of the immune system that then releases inflammatory mediators or cells that then circulate through the body and create the inflammation in the skin, the ears, the feet, that then we see the symptom of what we think is a yeast infection, or our pets are chewing, licking, scratching excessively. So we need to go back to, okay, if we're not breaking down the food properly, because we might have an issue with the stomach producing enough stomach acid, we're not producing the digestive enzymes for some reason, we might have a heavy metal issue, our detox pathways are blocked, and that now what's happening is that we're building up inflammation in the body and our pets can't get rid of it, and it's creating this whole cascade of effects. And so rather than going directly to the yeast, we need to strengthen the imbalances that led to the yeast in the first place. So we do a lot of hair tissue mineral analysis tests. We've done one with Carrie. There's imbalances there. We have to resolve that. Now we can be doing that in the background where we're building up strength. We're supporting digestion with things like betaine hydrochloride to lower the stomach acid. So that way we're secreting and releasing pepsin and other digestive enzymes from the pancreas that go into the small intestine to then break down if that food's not broken down and it gets into the small and large intestine, that immune system that's sitting there will go, wait, what is this? It's not broken down into a small enough particle to be absorbed. It's seen as foreign. And then we create food sensitivities. Voila. Like, see how that works? So we can be healing the body by supporting these processes while we are treating some of the symptoms that are creating discomfort for your pet. So this is where some of these tests that are really helpful, check out our one of our latest YouTube videos on some of the tests that I recommend for gut health and skin issues. We want to uncover what some of these root causes are or imbalances that are leading to the symptoms. So things like stool tests, there's a couple out there now, which are great that you can order directly. Animal Biome, Innovative Pet Lab, where we can see how is digestion occurring, what's going on with the local immune system, what's going on with the microbiome. And then you can pinpoint like, wow, that's off. Okay, now I can use these specific supplements to heal or reduce the resistance to healing to help my pet, their immune system work better, clear inflammation, clear toxins. And that's where the power is. So that's really, really important to keep in mind. I find a lot of pet parents, and maybe this is you, are wasting a lot of money on supplements, hoping the next one works. But in reality, hope also comes with a duality that there's a fear that it's not going to, right? Have you felt that? You're not alone if you have. You're not wrong for thinking that. But hope is actually a word that comes with, we're hoping it works, but there's also this massive fear like, this isn't going to work. So when we use that test, don't guess philosophy, we have a much better idea of like, okay, this is off. Okay, this is how we fix it. And then shift the mindset of this is going to heal it right away. Because guess what? Here's a news flash for Friday morning. This problem didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be overnight that you're going to fix it. So remove the resistance to healing these things immediately and allow yourself the space to allow the healing to unfold. That's really, really important. It takes time. The other thing too, I love, Rose, yes, leaky gut. This is part of an issue, but we can also have food sensitivities without leaky gut. So if the immune system isn't working, if the digestion isn't working, if we have a microbiome issue, it doesn't always lead to leaky gut. Leaky gut is a huge issue. But just because we don't have leaky gut doesn't mean there's not a gut health issue or an immune system problem or a stressor or the nervous system is in overdrive. These are all things we address in our blueprint program. So if you're like, I need help and guidance, Dr. Katie, there's a lot here. There is. It's complicated. Schedule a call with us and we can see if the program's a good fit for what you're looking for, because it can be difficult. It can feel really hard trying to figure it out on your own. And this is my specialty in helping to guide you and mentor you and support you through that journey that takes time to heal. Because yes, the gut lining can repair really quickly, but if we're in a state of dis-ease where we have lots of inflammation, or you're stuck in a sympathetic overdrive in the nervous system, that fight or flight response where we're pumping out all these stress hormones like cortisol and epinephrine, it's not going to allow the gut to heal. It's not going to allow that inflammation to reduce. And what happens is we start seeing all these other symptoms appear: hyperreactivity, anxiety, stress, where, one little thing sets them off. Like with Sandra, she noticed, the vomiting with the stress episodes. There's also mention of the stress cystitis with the cats. And it creates this whole whirlwind of things. And we have to peel those layers back and look at those foundations of health, from physical health, gut health and nutrition, the immune system, emotional health, and environmental health, and look at where are these gaps and holes, and how do we solidify and create resilience and remove the resistance to healing. And doing it in a group setting is much more powerful than being alone trying to figure it out. So definitely look at scheduling those calls. Yes, Ashley, patience during this process is so important. Very difficult for me. It's difficult for everyone. I am right there with you. I want results like yesterday. And it's so hard to be at peace with like letting that go, but there's so much power in it. But it's so much easier when you have other people where you're like, yep, okay, I get it. Like the reminders that come from having a guide, having a mentor to remind you that it's okay. Like we have a little blip. What does it tell us? When we see a symptom flare up, when we're making progress, make sure you measure backwards. Too many, and maybe this is you, and if it is, it's okay, it's common. But are you measuring progress by looking at the horizon, looking to the future? I will be happy when my pet is healed. I consider myself a success when my pet never has another symptom. Well, unfortunately, we're future projecting, and none of us can predict the future. But also, too, we have no idea what's going to happen. And so we will never actually attain that. But a better way to look at it, which will also be more helpful, is saying, I am doing the best that I can. But looking back, measuring backwards. Okay, a year ago, I was here. Holy smokes, my dog can eat this much more food. They might have a seasonal flare up of allergies, but I'm so much more confident that I can manage it and handle it. That is the definition of true success. And we feel more at peace and also happy knowing and proud of ourselves. You should feel proud of yourself when we measure backwards. That horizon will always shift and change, and we will never catch up to it. So that has been a profound piece in my own personal experience dealing with autoimmune disease, managing, Finn with his cancer, is measuring backwards to look at how far we've come and celebrating the progress that we made. It doesn't mean you won't have bad days. So this is for everyone here with gut and skin issues, there will be flare-ups. I hate saying that. That sounds awful, but it's a reality. But I have faith that I know how to manage it, that I have the emotional awareness on what I can do and how to support my pets. And so this is really important where we're taking that step back and looking at all those things. And Sandy, when you do some of the tests and they come back normal, this is a great question. That's a good thing. We ruled out a microbiome issue. We've ruled out a food sensitivity. Okay, maybe it is more of an emotional health issue, and we need to assess what are the stressors in the house. Are there ways to support adrenal health using things like adaptogens? Do I need to check myself more, right? Maybe have a cup of tea and sit and be still because we're so crazy busy, right? All the time. We're so connected to our phones, the news. It's chaos out there and it's stressful. And if you watch the news, just turn that shit off. I'm sorry I use that word, but God, I don't watch the news anymore because I can't control any of it. It doesn't mean I'm not aware, but it's creating a sympathetic overdrive. And so many people, it's triggering the hell out of them. And it's not creating a healing environment. So show up with love and compassion for the people who are suffering in this world, knowing that you are doing the best that you can to support them, but also too, like give yourself grace. So negative tests are a good thing. They're ruling out things. And this is where looking at, okay, well, it could be a detox issue. It could be an emotional health issue. Are we supporting digestion? That's how I approach health for myself, for my patients. That's how I teach it in my blueprint program to make sure that we're not missing something. And it might just be a matter of like they're older and they're not breaking down their food more. And now we're creating sensitivities or we're using a raw food diet that's too cooling energetically and they're not able to handle it. And the other thing too, some of the questions that came in just to finish this today is that it's okay if they're not perfect every day. Here's a question to ask yourself. Does your stool look the same every single day? If it does, great. Give me your tips. I know mine doesn't. But here's the thing. If I have like softer stool, like TMI, welcome to my life. If I have softer stool one day, I'm not running to the ER. I'm not freaking out about what's happening. It's something to be aware of and go, okay, did I change my diet? Did I travel? Did I have more stress? What was going on? And if it's a one off, whatever, that's fine. What is your pet and yourself doing consistently? I hope you found that wonderful, Sandra. You're welcome on Friday morning. But this is where, what is consistent? So stool being off a little bit, a vomit every now and then, not the end of the world. And it's not something to like completely shift everything that you're doing and go back into the fear. Because what will happen is then we're going to create more dis-ease because we've created resistance. So become aware of that. It's an exercise that you can start doing today, is just be aware of that. How do I respond if I see soft stool in my dog? Do I go, okay, take note. Cool. I'm going to monitor that. Okay, we're going to stay on this path. It's most likely, as long as it consistently things look good, your dog, your cat are feeling great. They're eating well, their energy levels are good, their coats look nice and healthy, you're most likely fine. So remember that, because I feel like the messaging we've been getting is to have perfection, and perfection is not attainable for anyone. It's like looking at the horizon. You're like, once I get there, it'll be great. And I have to control everything. Like, let it go. So if you're still having struggles or challenges and you're looking for help and guidance, definitely schedule a call with me to see if our Blueprint program is a fit. It's not a fit for everyone. That's why I do the calls, to make sure it is the best resource for getting you support and help for your pets with gut health and skin health issues. If you have a pet that has cancer or other health problems that don't fit into that category, still send us an email to info@. We can share other resources that we have. But specifically, our program is geared to help those that are experiencing these chronic gut health and skin health issues, and finding the root cause, utilizing a true holistic approach to help you feel confident and supported that you are on the path to unlocking true health, not just absence of disease. So we've dropped some links. You can head to thenaturalpetdoctor.com. There's also a link in the description to schedule a call. I appreciate each and every single one of you for showing up as the best version of yourself, wanting the best for your pets, and you are doing the best that you can. Have faith. Let go of those expectations of having to fix everything, having to be perfect for your pet, having to have those results yesterday. I promise you're exactly where you need to be. And it's not always an easy path. So make sure you give yourself grace and find the communities that support you in that. Whether it's our community, great. If it's not, that's okay. I know I don't resonate with everyone, and that's okay. We're all individuals and beautiful people in our own regards. So I hope you found that helpful. Remember, you can go back and re-listen to this. Look for those little tweaks and adjustments, or the things that apply to your specific situation that might be a blind spot. And we just needed to think or look at our pets a little bit differently to unlock something that can help us create the life that we're looking for. So thank you so much, everyone. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you liked this, if you shared it with another pet parent who might be struggling or feeling alone on this journey. If you subscribe to our channel, you'll be notified when new videos get released. It also helps us spread this information wider by helping us do that. I truly appreciate it. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you soon. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the Natural Pet Doctor.